When people think about rebuilding muscle after the age of 60, they often look for fancy supplements, expensive powders, or exotic foods that promise quick results. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for protecting your muscles, reversing sarcopenia, and boosting your overall health is sitting right in your refrigerator right now? I'm talking about the humble egg. It's one of the cheapest, most accessible, and nutrient-dense foods available. And if you understand how to use it properly, it can become your secret weapon against age-related muscle loss. Eggs contain what's called a perfect amino acid score. This means that the proteins inside an egg are almost identical to the proteins your body needs to build and repair muscle tissue. The standout amino acid here is leucine. Leucine is one of the 3 branched chain amino acids, and it acts like a switch. It literally flips on the muscle building process known as protein synthesis. Without leucine, your body struggles to activate the repair mechanism that keeps your muscles strong. And here's what's fascinating. A single egg yolk contains enough leucine to stimulate this process, which is especially important after the age of 60 when muscle building signals become weaker. Many people fear eggs because of the cholesterol myth, but this is one of the biggest misconceptions in nutrition. Your body actually needs cholesterol to make hormones, to build cell membranes, and to support brain function. Seniors in particular benefit from these healthy fats because they keep energy levels stable and support the production of hormones that protect muscle mass. Think about this: the yolk of the egg was designed to grow an entire chicken. It contains everything needed for life: fat-soluble vitamins, B vitamins, minerals, essential fats, and high-quality protein. If nature designed an egg to support life from start to finish, imagine what it can do for your aging muscles. Now let's bring this down to something practical. After the age of 60, your muscles become resistant to growth. You can eat protein, but your body won't always respond the same way it did in your 20s or 30s. This is called anabolic resistance. The solution is to provide your body with proteins that are extremely bioavailable and rich in leucine, because leucine bypasses much of that resistance and forces your body to respond. Eggs do exactly that. In fact, studies show that older adults who consume eggs regularly not only maintain more muscle, but also improve balance and coordination, which lowers the risk of falls. Another hook here is how versatile eggs are. They're quick, easy, and inexpensive. For the price of a single protein shake, you could buy a dozen eggs and get far more nutrition. And unlike powders that are often processed and stripped of natural cofactors, eggs provide the full package. The B vitamins in eggs help your body extract energy from the protein you eat. The choline in the yolk supports nerve function, which is critical for muscle contractions. Selenium, another nutrient in eggs, helps reduce oxidative stress, something that becomes more damaging as you age. Every single bite of an egg is working in your favor, fooling not just your muscles but your entire system. Let's look at it from another angle. If you skip eggs and focus only on plant proteins or processed powders, you're missing out on what I call nutrient synergy. For example, the vitamin D in eggs helps you absorb calcium, which strengthens your bones. Strong bones are essential if you want to support stronger muscles. The omega-3 fats in certain eggs, especially pasture-raised, help fight inflammation and improve recovery. When you eat eggs, you're not just giving your body protein, you're giving it the tools to use that protein effectively. That's the difference between simply eating and truly nourishing your body. Now, some people ask, how many eggs can I safely eat a day? The research shows that for most healthy adults, even 2 to 3 eggs daily can have significant benefits without raising the risk of heart disease. In fact, eggs can improve your cholesterol profile by raising HDL, the protective cholesterol, and shifting LDL into a safer pattern. This is especially important for seniors, because inflammation and poor cholesterol balance can accelerate muscle loss. By including eggs, you're not just targeting your muscles, you're protecting your heart, your brain, and your metabolism. Here's another fascinating fact: eggs are incredibly satisfying. As you age, appetite can sometimes decrease, and many seniors end up not eating enough protein simply because they don't feel hungry. Eggs solve this problem. The protein and fat combination keeps you full, making it easier to get the nutrients you need without overeating. And because they're soft and easy to chew, eggs are also perfect for those who struggle with tougher protein sources like steak or chicken breast. Imagine this scenario: you wake up in the morning, and instead of starting your day with toast, cereal, or fruit juice, you scramble 3 eggs in butter. You've just given your body a protein-rich, nutrient-packed breakfast that turns on muscle repair, stabilizes your blood sugar, and sets you up for better energy all day long. Compare that to starting with a high-carb breakfast. Your blood sugar spikes, crashes, and you feel fatigued. Over time, that energy crash contributes to inactivity, and inactivity accelerates muscle loss. Eggs aren't just protecting your muscles, they're protecting your lifestyle. Another key point is accessibility. Not everyone can afford expensive cuts of meat or high-end supplements, but almost everyone can afford eggs. They're available worldwide, easy to prepare, and can be cooked in dozens of different ways to prevent boredom. Hard-boiled, scrambled, poached, or made into an omelet, eggs are flexible, quick, and affordable. That makes them sustainable long-term, which is exactly what you need to fight sarcopenia over time. Think about this: a dozen eggs might cost the same as one fast food meal, but the impact on your body couldn't be more different. One choice feeds muscle repair, balances hormones, and supports your brain. The other promotes inflammation, weight gain, and further muscle breakdown. Every time you choose eggs, you're making a long-term investment in your strength and independence. If you're serious about reversing muscle loss after 60, don't overlook the simple solutions. Eggs provide the exact building blocks your muscles need. They bypass the resistance that comes with aging. And they give you far more nutrition than their price suggests. The sooner you make eggs a regular part of your routine, the sooner you'll start feeling the difference in your strength, your stability, and your energy levels. When most people think about protein, they think about chicken, beef, or maybe even protein powders. But one of the most overlooked, inexpensive, and powerful proteins for rebuilding muscle after the age of 60 is something you've probably walked past in the grocery store hundreds of times without giving it a second thought: cottage cheese. This humble food, often considered old-fashioned, actually has a unique property that makes it especially effective at fighting sarcopenia and repairing muscle tissue. And here's the hook: it doesn't just work while you're awake. Cottage cheese is one of the rare proteins that continues to work for you all night long while you sleep. After 60, one of the biggest challenges your muscles face is something called catabolism, or muscle breakdown. As we age, the body's ability to hold onto muscle becomes weaker, especially during long periods without food, like overnight. While you're sleeping, your body can go 6 to 8 hours without protein, and in that fasting state, your muscles can start breaking down to supply amino acids for other processes. This is one of the reasons seniors wake up feeling weaker over time. Cottage cheese solves this problem beautifully because it's rich in casein protein. Casein is a slow digesting protein that releases amino acids gradually into your bloodstream, almost like a time-release capsule. That means instead of your muscles starving overnight, they're being fed slowly, consistently, and steadily, hour by hour. Think about it this way: if you eat chicken or fish for dinner, your body digests it fairly quickly, and within a few hours, the supply of amino acids has already peaked and declined. But if you have a serving of cottage cheese before bed, your muscles are still receiving a steady drip of nutrition throughout the night. This not only reduces the risk of muscle breakdown, but actively supports muscle repair while your body is in its deepest, most restorative sleep cycles. And as you know, their sleep is when your body is naturally designed to heal. Pairing sleep with the right kind of protein creates a powerful synergy for fighting sarcopenia. But cottage cheese doesn't just provide casein. It also contains a unique balance of other nutrients that support muscle health. For example, it's rich in calcium, and calcium isn't just for your bones. Calcium is the mineral that allows your muscles to contract and relax properly. Without it, your muscles become weaker, more prone to cramping, and less efficient. It also contains phosphorus, another mineral critical for energy production in your muscle cells. Add to that vitamin B12 and riboflavin, both of which support energy metabolism, and you can see that cottage cheese isn't just feeding your muscles, it's energizing them at the cellular level. Another fascinating element of cottage cheese is that it naturally contains live cultures in many varieties. These probiotics improve gut health, which is directly tied to how well you absorb and utilize protein. After 60, digestion can slow down and absorption isn't as efficient. If your gut health isn't optimal, even the best proteins can go to waste because your body simply doesn't extract all the amino acids. Cottage cheese helps improve this by balancing the gut microbiome, making sure that what you eat actually gets delivered to your muscles. It's like improving the delivery system for your nutrition. Let's talk about satiety for a moment, because that's another hook many people miss. As we age, appetite often decreases, especially in the evening. Seniors sometimes eat lighter dinners or even skip protein altogether at night, which accelerates muscle loss. Cottage cheese is soft, easy to chew, and very filling without being heavy. A single cup contains around 25 grams of protein, and because it digests slowly, it keeps you satisfied through the night. This is especially important if you find yourself waking up hungry or craving snacks late at night. Instead of reaching for something sugary or processed, a bowl of cottage cheese gives you the protein you need and helps you sleep better. Here's another point most people don't realize. Cottage cheese contains a natural peptide called casein, derived bioactive peptides, which may have blood pressure lowering effects and other health benefits. Why does this matter for muscle health? Because better circulation means better delivery of nutrients and oxygen to your muscles. When your blood vessels are healthier, the amino acids from your food can actually reach your muscle tissue more effectively. This is yet another way that cottage cheese indirectly supports muscle repair after 60. Now, some people may be concerned about the fat content in cottage cheese. But here's the truth: full fat cottage cheese is actually better for muscle health than fat-free varieties. The fat in cottage cheese slows digestion even further, extending that time release effect overnight. It also provides fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin K2, which helps direct calcium into your bones and muscles rather than into your arteries. So when you choose cottage cheese, don't fear the fat. It's part of what makes this food so effective. To make this even more practical, let me paint a picture. Imagine finishing dinner around 600 p.m. You had some vegetables, maybe a piece of salmon or chicken, and you're done eating for the evening. By 10:00 p.m., your body has already digested most of that meal, and by midnight, you're entering a fasting state. Now imagine that at 9:30 p.m., you sit down with a small bowl of cottage cheese, maybe with a sprinkle of cinnamon, a handful of berries, or even some walnuts on top. As you go to bed, your body starts receiving a steady supply of amino acids, vitamins, and minerals that last through the night. While you're sleeping, your muscles are repairing instead of breaking down. Your metabolism is supported, and you wake up not just rested, but stronger. That's the power of using food strategically, and cottage cheese is one of the most powerful nighttime strategies you can use. Let's compare this to the average evening snack people choose. Many seniors reach for crackers, cookies, or ice cream before bed. These foods spike blood sugar, increase insulin resistance, and contribute nothing to muscle repair. They actually accelerate sarcopenia by promoting fat storage and inflammation. But swapping that habit for cottage cheese is a small shift with massive long-term results. It's the difference between feeding the problem and feeding the solution. There's also the affordability factor. Cottage cheese is one of the cheapest protein sources you can buy, especially when compared to protein powders or meats. For a fraction of the price, you're getting a nutrient-dense, slow-digesting protein that directly addresses the problem of muscle loss after 60. And unlike powders, which often contain additives, fillers, or artificial sweeteners, cottage cheese is a whole food. That means your body recognizes it, digests it, and uses it more efficiently. Think about how empowering this is. Instead of relying on expensive supplements or complicated regimens, you can walk into any grocery store, pick up a container of cottage cheese, and have one of the most effective muscle-preserving tools at your fingertips. It's simple, it's affordable, and it works with your body's natural rhythms. Specifically, the repair cycle that happens while you sleep. By making cottage cheese a part of your nightly routine, you're essentially protecting your muscles during the hours they're most vulnerable. It's like putting a shield around your muscle tissue overnight, ensuring that instead of wasting away, they're being nourished and rebuilt. And that single habit, repeated night after night, can make the difference between losing independence as you age or staying strong, mobile, and capable. When most people think about building muscle or reversing sarcopenia after the age of 60, their mind instantly goes to animal proteins, steak, chicken, or fish. And yes, those are excellent sources of amino acids. But what often gets overlooked is just how powerful plant-based proteins can be when used correctly. In fact, some of the cheapest and most accessible proteins on the planet come from lentils and beans, and these humble foods can make a huge difference in your ability to maintain strength, energy, and independence as you age. What's even more fascinating is that they don't just give you protein. They give you a whole package of nutrients that directly target some of the biggest challenges seniors face. Let's start with the protein itself. Lentils and beans are loaded with amino acids, and when combined with a varied diet, they can provide the full spectrum of essential building blocks your muscles need. But here's the hook: unlike processed powders that may give you protein but strip away everything else, lentils and beans deliver protein along with fiber, minerals, and phytonutrients that help your body actually use that protein more effectively. This is critical after 60 because the issue isn't just getting enough protein. It's whether your body can absorb it, utilize it, and direct it to muscle tissue instead of storing it as fat. Another hidden power of lentils and beans is their ability to improve insulin sensitivity. Why does this matter? Because insulin is the hormone that helps shuttle amino acids and glucose into your muscle cells. When you're insulin resistant, which is common after 60, your muscles can't absorb nutrients efficiently no matter how much protein you eat. This is one of the reasons many seniors struggle with sarcopenia, even when they're consuming decent amounts of protein. Lentils and beans are naturally high in soluble fiber and magnesium, both of which improve insulin sensitivity. That means the protein you eat, whether from plants or animals, actually gets delivered to your muscle tissue instead of floating around in your bloodstream unused. Imagine spending money on groceries but never getting the food into your house. That's what poor insulin sensitivity does. Lentils and beans fix the delivery system. Now let's talk about magnesium for a moment, because this is another overlooked gem in lentils and beans. Magnesium is required for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, but one of its most important roles is in muscle function. It allows your muscles to relax after they contract, preventing cramps and stiffness. It also plays a critical role in energy production inside your mitochondria. Without enough magnesium, your muscles fatigue faster and don't recover as well. And here's the kicker. Most seniors are deficient in magnesium. Lentils and beans provide a steady, natural source of this mineral, helping restore balance and giving your muscles what they need to perform Let's not forget potassium, another mineral abundant in lentils and beans. Potassium balances sodium, reduces fluid retention, and improves blood pressure. But more importantly, it's essential for proper nerve signaling to your muscles. Every time you move, your brain sends an electrical signal through your nerves to your muscle fibers, telling them to contract. Without enough potassium, those signals weaken, leading to slower reflexes, reduced strength, and even tremors. By adding lentils and beans to your diet, you're not just feeding your muscles protein, you're feeding the electrical system that controls your muscles. There's also a gut health angle here that most people miss. Lentils and beans are high in prebiotic fibers, which feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. And research now shows that your gut microbiome plays a direct role in how well you metabolize protein. If your gut is out of balance, protein digestion is compromised and your muscles don't get what they need. By eating lentils and beans, you're strengthening your gut flora, improving digestion, and enhancing the efficiency of every gram of protein you consume. It's like upgrading the machinery that processes your food, making sure nothing goes to waste. One of the biggest hooks here is affordability. Think about it, a pound of lentils costs far less than a pound of meat, yet it delivers incredible amounts of nutrition. For seniors on a fixed income, this is a game changer. You can buy a bag of beans or lentils and prepare meals for several days at a fraction of the cost of animal protein. And unlike meat, they don't spoil quickly. Though you can store them dry for months, cook them in bulk, and always have a cheap, reliable source of protein ready to go. That's not just good nutrition, it's smart living. Now, some people might be concerned about digestibility. Beans, in particular, have a reputation for causing gas or bloating, but this is usually due to improper preparation. When soaked and cooked properly, the compounds that cause discomfort are greatly reduced, and most people tolerate them very well. In fact, by slowly introducing lentils and beans into your diet, your digestive system adapts, and the prebiotic fibers actually strengthen your gut over time. The very thing that might cause discomfort in the beginning ends up improving your long-term digestive health, making you more resilient. Let me give you a practical picture of how this works in daily life. Imagine you're making a simple lentil soup. You add some onions, garlic, a few spices, and maybe some chopped vegetables. For just a few dollars, you've created a meal that provides protein, fiber, magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants all in one bowl. Compare that to spending the same money on processed snacks, and the difference in how your body responds is enormous. With the soup, you're fueling muscle repair, stabilizing blood sugar, and improving insulin sensitivity. With the snacks, you're spiking blood sugar, promoting fat storage, and worsening sarcopenia. It's the same cost, but two completely different outcomes. Another important aspect of lentils and beans is their ability to keep you full. Sarcopenia often worsens because seniors simply don't eat enough protein due to decreased appetite. Lentils and beans are incredibly satisfying thanks to their combination of protein and fiber. This means you'll naturally eat enough to support your muscles without needing large portions or constant snacking. And because they digest more slowly than simple carbs, they keep blood sugar stable, which prevents energy crashes that lead to inactivity. Remember, inactivity is one of the fastest ways to lose muscle, so anything that keeps you energized and moving is critical. One more hidden benefit is that lentils and beans contain phytonutrients with anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of muscle loss and aging. Inflammation interferes with muscle repair, damages mitochondria, and accelerates weakness. By including these foods, you're not just providing building blocks, you're creating an environment where muscle growth can actually happen. Think of it like gardening. Protein is the seed, but anti-inflammatory compounds are the fertile soil that allows that seed to grow. Without both, nothing happens. The beauty of lentils and beans is in their simplicity. They're ancient foods, they're eaten for thousands of years, and they've sustained populations with strength and vitality. Today, in a world obsessed with quick fixes and expensive supplements, they remind us that sometimes the most powerful solutions are the simplest. They are proof that you don't need to spend a lot of money to fight sarcopenia. You just need to choose the right foods consistently. When we talk about building muscle after 60 and fighting sarcopenia, most people immediately think of steak, chicken, or protein shakes. But here's the hook: one of the most overlooked and expensive and nutrient-dense proteins for seniors is a tiny little fish that often comes in a can: sardines. Now, don't let their size fool you. These small fish pack one of the biggest nutritional punches of any food on the planet. In fact, sardines not only give you high-quality protein for muscle repair, but they also deliver a unique combination of omega-3 fatty acids, minerals, and vitamins that directly target the root causes of muscle loss and weakness. If you're serious about reversing sarcopenia, you need to pay attention to this little powerhouse. The first thing to understand about sardines is their protein quality. Just like eggs, sardines contain a complete amino acid profile, which means your body gets all the essential building blocks it needs to repair and grow muscle. But here's what makes sardines unique They deliver protein along with anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats. Most high-protein foods don't provide this combination. And that's a big deal because one of the silent drivers of sarcopenia is chronic inflammation. As we age, low-grade inflammation builds up in the body, interfering with muscle repair, damaging mitochondria, and making recovery slower. You can eat protein all day long, but if inflammation is high, your muscles won't rebuild properly. Sardines solve this problem because they don't just feed your muscles. They create an environment where muscle repair can actually happen. Omega-3 fatty acids in sardines, specifically EPA and DHA, are like lubricants for your body. They calm inflammation, improve blood flow, and even help your nervous system communicate better with your muscles. Think about how important that is. At every time you move, your brain sends a signal down to your muscle fibers. If that connection is weak or inflamed, your muscles don't respond efficiently. This is why many seniors struggle with coordination or experience stiffness. By improving nerve-muscle communication, omega-3s in sardines allow your muscles to contract more strongly and recover more quickly. You're not just building muscle, you're improving how that muscle actually works. Another hook here is the mineral profile of sardines. These little fish are one of the richest sources of calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D, especially if you eat them with the bones, which are soft and completely edible. Why does this matter for sarcopenia? Because strong muscles need strong bones to attach to. You can't build muscle effectively if your skeletal structure is weak. Calcium and vitamin D from sardines support both bones and muscles at the same time, making them one of the few foods that protect the entire musculoskeletal system in one serving. Add to that phosphorus, which helps with energy production inside your muscle cells, and you have a food that fuels strength on multiple levels. Sardines are also loaded with coenzyme Q10 or CoQ10, a nutrient that plays a critical role in mitochondrial function. Your mitochondria are the powerhouses of your cells, responsible for generating the energy your muscles need to contract and repair. After 60, mitochondrial function declines, which is one reason energy levels drop and recovery slows. CoQ10 from sardines helps restore this function, giving your muscles the fuel they need to keep up with the demands of daily life. And here's what's fascinating: CoQ10 supplements are expensive, but sardines give you this nutrient naturally, in a form your body can use immediately. Let's also talk about vitamin B12, another nutrient found abundantly in sardines. B12 is essential for nerve health, red blood cell production, and DNA synthesis. Without enough B12, muscles don't receive enough oxygen, leading to fatigue and weakness. Seniors are particularly vulnerable to B12 deficiency because absorption decreases with age. But sardines provide a natural, concentrated source that supports energy, nerve function, and muscle performance. That's why just one serving of sardines can leave you feeling more energized and mentally sharper, while also supporting muscle repair. Now, some people may hesitate at the thought of eating sardines because they imagine them as strong, tasting, or unappetizing. But here's the surprising truth. Sardines are much milder than most people expect, especially when packed in olive oil or water. They can be added to salads, mashed with avocado on toast, or even blended into sauces for extra nutrition without overpowering the flavor. Once you learn how versatile they are, you realize they're one of the easiest and cheapest superfoods you can keep in your pantry. Affordability is another key factor. A can of sardines often costs less than a single protein bar, yet delivers far more nutrition. While protein bars are usually filled with sugar, additives, and processed ingredients, sardines give you pure protein, healthy fats, and a whole suite of vitamins and minerals. For seniors on a budget, this makes sardines one of the smartest investments for long-term health. You're not just getting protein, you're getting a full package designed by nature to support your body as it ages. Another benefit that often goes unnoticed is the low level of toxins in sardines compared to larger fish. Because sardines are small and low on the food chain, they don't accumulate mercury and heavy metals the way tuna or salmon sometimes do. This makes them one of the safest seafood choices, especially for older adults who need to protect their brains, nerves, and detox systems. Eating sardines regularly means you get the benefits of seafood without the risk associated with larger fish. Let me paint a scenario for you. Imagine it's lunchtime, and instead of grabbing a sandwich or processed snack, you open a can of sardines, mix them with a squeeze of lemon juice, a little olive oil, and some chopped herbs, and put it over a salad. In less than 5 minutes, you've created a meal that provides protein, omega-3s, calcium, vitamin D, B12, magnesium, phosphorus, and CoQ10, all in one dish. That's a nutrient density you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere else. Compare that to a fast food meal, which delivers empty calories, inflammation, and blood sugar spikes. One choice accelerates sarcopenia, while the other actively fights it. And the best part, the sardine meal costs less. Another fascinating angle is how sardines impact recovery. After exercise, especially resistance training, inflammation in the muscles can slow down the repair process. Most people reach for whey protein shakes, but if you combine exercise with sardines in your diet, The omega-3s actually accelerate recovery. They reduce muscle soreness, lower inflammation, and enhance protein synthesis. That means not only do you repair faster, but you can build muscle more effectively with less downtime. For seniors who often take longer to recover, this is a game-changing advantage. There's also a psychological benefit here. Eating sardines connects you to whole, natural foods, reminding you that nutrition doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need fancy powders or supplements when nature already provides exactly what your body needs in a perfectly balanced package. Every time you open a can of sardines, you're choosing simplicity, affordability, and effectiveness over marketing hype and processed shortcuts. Now think about this. A senior who makes sardines a regular part of their diet is not only feeding their muscles but protecting their heart, brain, and bones all at once. They're reducing inflammation, improving energy, and creating a stronger foundation for movement and independence. In contrast, a senior who avoids these nutrient-dense foods and sticks with processed proteins may think they're doing the right thing but often end up frustrated by slow results, persistent weakness, and rising health problems. The difference is not the effort, it's the food choice. When most people think about building muscle or fighting sarcopenia after 60, they immediately focus on how much protein they need. And while the total amount of protein you eat does matter, there's a powerful principle that almost no one talks about. And that's timing. The truth is, your body doesn't respond to protein the same way at every hour of the day. When you eat it, how you space it, and even the type of protein you consume at certain times can determine whether your body holds onto muscle or continues to lose it. And here's the hook. You could be eating enough protein but still experiencing muscle loss simply because you're eating it at the wrong times. After the age of 60, your body develops what's called anabolic resistance. This means your muscles don't respond to protein as efficiently as they did when you were younger. In your 20s and 30s, a small serving of protein could easily stimulate muscle protein synthesis, the process of building new muscle fibers. But after 60, the threshold becomes higher. You need not just the right type of protein, but the right timing strategy to push your body past that resistance. This is why spacing your protein intake throughout the day is far more effective than loading it all into one meal. If you skip breakfast, have a small lunch, and then try to pack all your protein into dinner, your body won't be able to use it efficiently. Instead of building muscle, much of it will simply be wasted. Here's what the research shows. Muscle protein synthesis peaks when you consume about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein in a single sitting. Anything less, and the signal to build muscle is too weak. Anything much more, and your body can't use it all at once. This creates an opportunity. If you spread your protein intake across your meals, say 30 grams at breakfast, 30 at lunch, and 30 at dinner, you give your muscles 3 strong, clear signals to rebuild. That's 3 opportunities in one day to fight sarcopenia, compared to just 1 if you only eat protein heavy at dinner. It's not about eating more overall, it's about dividing it wisely. Now let's go even deeper. The morning is one of the most important times to consume protein after 60. Overnight, your body has been in a fasting state for 8 to 10 hours, which means muscle breakdown has already begun. If you break your fast with only carbohydrates like toast, cereal, or fruit juice, you're not turning on the muscle building switch. You're simply spiking your blood sugar and missing the opportunity to feed your muscles when they need it most. But if you start your day with eggs, cottage cheese, or another high-quality protein, you immediately halt muscle breakdown and shift your body into repair mode. That single change in your morning routine can make a huge difference in how your muscles respond over time. Another critical window is post-exercise. When you move your body, especially through resistance training, you create tiny tears in your muscle fibers. This is not a bad thing, it's actually how you stimulate growth. But the key is to provide your muscles with protein within about 2 hours after exercise. This is when your body is most sensitive to amino acids and can absorb them directly into the muscle tissue for repair. If you miss this window, you miss the chance to maximize the benefits of your workout. Seniors often exercise and then delay eating for hours thinking they're helping their metabolism, but in reality, they're missing the very window where muscle repair could be happening most effectively. Protein timing isn't just about when you're awake. Nighttime plays a role too. As I explained with cottage cheese, your body enters a long fasting state during sleep, and without a slow digesting protein, muscle breakdown can occur. By consuming a source of casein protein in the evening, you extend the flow of amino acids throughout the night, turning what would normally be a catabolic state into an anabolic one. Think about how powerful that is. You're literally repairing your muscles while you sleep. Most people waste this opportunity, but with the right timing strategy, you're taking advantage of every hour of the day. Here's another fascinating angle. Protein timing also interacts with your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock. Research shows that muscle protein synthesis is naturally more efficient during the day than late at night. This means that while a nighttime protein snack is still helpful, your main protein meals should ideally be earlier in the day. That's why front-loading your protein, getting a solid dose at breakfast and lunch, can give you better results than saving it all for dinner. You're essentially working with your body's natural rhythms instead of against them. Now let's talk about the type of protein and timing. Not all proteins digest at the same speed. Whey protein, for example, is absorbed quickly, making it ideal right after exercise when your muscles need a fast influx of amino acids. Casein, on the other hand, digests slowly, which is why it's perfect before bed. Whole foods like eggs, fish, and poultry fall somewhere in between. By strategically pairing different proteins with different times of the day, you can create a rhythm of fast, medium, and slow digestion that keeps your muscles supplied with amino acids around the clock. That's not complicated science. It's just smart eating. Another hook here is satiety. Protein timing isn't just about muscle. It's also about appetite control. Seniors often struggle with inconsistent eating patterns. Some days they eat too little. Others they overeat in one sitting. By spreading protein evenly across the day, you stabilize blood sugar, reduce cravings, and maintain steady energy. That not only helps you eat better overall, but also keeps you more active, which is another critical factor in maintaining muscle. Remember, muscle doesn't just respond to food, it responds to movement. And when your energy is stable, you move more. Now imagine this scenario. You wake up and have 3 scrambled eggs with spinach and avocado. That's about 25 grams of protein to start the day. At lunch, you have a lentil and chicken soup with a side salad, another 30 grams. In the afternoon, you exercise lightly, and within an hour, you have a can of sardines with some vegetables. Fast digesting protein plus omega-3 as to reduce inflammation. At dinner, you enjoy a piece of salmon with steamed vegetables, another 30 grams. And before bed, a small bowl of cottage cheese gives you casein protein to last through the night. With this rhythm, and you've created 5 different windows where your body is being fueled for muscle repair. Compare that to someone who skips breakfast, eats a light lunch, and then tries to eat all their protein at dinner. The difference in results after 60 is dramatic. One strategy feeds muscle all day long, the other starves it and accelerates loss. One of the most overlooked aspects of protein timing is consistency. It's not enough to hit your protein goal once in a while. Your muscles respond to consistent, repeated signals over time. If you only eat properly once or twice a week, your body won't adapt. But if you create a daily rhythm where protein arrives in steady, well-timed intervals, your body starts to expect it, absorb it, and use it more efficiently. Over weeks and months, this consistent signaling turns into visible, measurable strength gains. It's not about perfection. It's about rhythm. The exciting part is that protein timing is free. You don't have to buy anything special. You don't need complicated formulas, and you don't need to increase your grocery bill. All you have to do is rearrange what you're already eating. Instead of pushing most of your protein into the evening, spread it throughout the day. Instead of skipping breakfast, start with a protein-rich meal. Instead of waiting too long after exercise, give your muscles what they need right away. These are small shifts that create massive results over time. When it comes to fighting sarcopenia after 60, the conversation almost always drifts toward protein supplements, powders, and shakes. Walk into any nutrition store and you'll see shelves lined with tubs of whey, soy, pea, and collagen powders, all promising to build muscle fast. And while these products can have their place, here's the truth. If you really want to rebuild muscle, improve health, and slow down aging, whole foods are far superior to powders. That may surprise you, especially since powders are marketed as the quick, modern solution, but the body tells a very different story. The most powerful way to nourish muscle and restore strength is still through real, unprocessed food. One of the biggest hooks here is this: your body is not just a machine that runs on protein grams. It's a living system that requires a symphony of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, cofactors, and enzymes to properly use protein and convert it into muscle. Whole foods provide this complete package, while powders provide only a fragment. For example, when you eat an egg, you're not only getting high-quality protein, you're also getting B vitamins, choline, fat, soluble vitamins, and trace minerals, all of which play roles in muscle metabolism, hormone balance, and nerve function. Compare that to a scoop of protein powder, which may give you the amino acids but strips away everything else your body needs to make that protein truly effective. Another reason whole foods matter is digestibility and absorption. Many people over 60 already struggle with weaker digestion, reduced stomach acid, and slower enzyme activity. Powders often come in isolated, refined forms that can overwhelm the digestive tract, leading to bloating, discomfort, or incomplete absorption. Whole foods, on the other hand, come with natural enzymes, fiber, and fats that help slow digestion and improve nutrient uptake. When you eat fish, chicken, beans, or lentils, your body receives protein in a natural context it has evolved to process. The amino acids are released steadily, allowing your muscles to use them efficiently without overwhelming the system. That's something a refined powder simply cannot replicate. Now let's talk about satiety and appetite control. Powders are convenient, but they don't fill you up the way whole foods do. Their seniors often struggle with inconsistent appetite. Some days they don't feel like eating much at all. In these cases, a liquid shake might sound appealing, but here's the problem. It passes through the stomach quickly without sending strong signals of fullness to the brain. Whole foods like eggs, legumes, or a piece of salmon take longer to digest, triggering satiety hormones like peptide YY and GLP-1. This means you stay fuller for longer, you're less likely to snack on empty calories, and your protein intake is spread out in a way that supports consistent muscle repair. There's also the issue of hidden ingredients. Many protein powders contain additives, artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, or fillers that can create inflammation, disrupt gut health, or spike blood sugar. Sarcopenia is already a condition influenced by inflammation. Low-grade, chronic inflammation accelerates muscle loss. So if you're taking in powders that contribute to that inflammation, you're working against your own goals. Whole foods, by contrast, not only provide clean protein, but often carry anti-inflammatory compounds. Fatty fish give you omega-3s, legumes provide polyphenols, eggs provide antioxidants like lutein. These natural compounds support recovery and protect muscle tissue, something no processed powder can replicate. Here's a powerful hook. Your body actually recognizes whole foods differently than it recognizes processed isolates. Think of it this way, your muscles don't just need amino acids, they need the instructions, the signals, the cofactors that tell your body what to do with those amino acids. Whole foods carry these natural instructions. For instance, red meat contains heme iron and zinc, both of which are crucial for oxygen delivery and enzyme function in muscle repair. Without these, the protein you consume doesn't get used as effectively. A powder can give you 20 grams of protein, but without the complementary nutrients, your body may only use a fraction of it. Now let's imagine a typical day. You could have a breakfast shake with 25 grams of powder mixed in water, or you could have 2 eggs with a slice of smoked salmon and some sauteed spinach. On paper, both might give you a similar amount of protein. But only the whole food meal provides choline for brain health, DHA for anti-inflammatory support, B12 for red blood cells, magnesium for muscle relaxation, and vitamin D for strength. Over weeks and months, these differences add up, not just in your muscle, but in your energy, mood, and overall vitality. Whole foods don't just rebuild your body, they nourish your entire system. Another important point is the rhythm of eating. Protein powders encourage a quick on-the-go mentality, but rebuilding muscle after 60 requires mindful eating. Taking the time to chew, to digest, and to absorb signals your body to release digestive juices, enzymes, and hormones in the proper sequence. This optimizes nutrient absorption and makes sure your muscles actually get what they need. Drinking a shake in 30 seconds skips this process, leaving you with less efficiency and often less satisfaction. Eating whole foods isn't just tradition, it's biology. Some people ask a doctor, Berg, what if I don't have the appetite for large meals? That's where strategic, nutrient-dense whole foods come in. Instead of relying on powders, you can use smaller, concentrated sources of protein like sardines, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a boiled egg. These foods are easy to digest, yet still come with the nutrient complexity that powders lack. Even plant-based options like lentils or quinoa provide protein along with fiber, magnesium, and antioxidants that directly support muscle health. The key is not eating more volume, it's eating smarter, whole, and nutrient-rich. And let's not forget the psychological effect. There's something grounding and healing about eating real food. Sitting down to a home-cooked meal tells your body you're nourishing it, not just feeding it calories. This has a direct effect on stress, cortisol levels, and digestion, all of which influence muscle preservation. A powder can never provide that holistic impact. Here's another hook. Longevity studies consistently show that people who rely on whole foods, not supplements, live longer and healthier lives. It's not just about hitting protein numbers. It's about creating a dietary pattern that reduces inflammation, supports gut health, and strengthens immunity. Powders may build muscle in the short term, but whole foods build resilience for the long term. And after 60, resilience is everything. It's worth mentioning that powders can have a place, especially for convenience or post-exercise recovery, but they should never replace whole foods. Think of them as a backup plan, not the main strategy. Your foundation should always be real, unprocessed food, because that's what your body recognizes, that's what your genes expect, and that's what truly works against sarcopenia. Every time you choose a whole food protein source over a processed powder, you're giving your body not just fuel, but information. Information that says, repair, rebuild, strengthen. That is the power of whole foods.